What's going on in Memphis? Obviously, Dillon Brooks seemed to be the scapegoat of a basketball team that underperformed, right? We expected this Grizzlies team to possibly compete in the conference finals. They didn't make it there. And so everyone's saying it's because of Dillon Brooks, and he poked the bear in LeBron James, and LeBron James basically is going to get him, who's not even on his team, out of Memphis. I know you've been around, you've been in the league, you played for 11 seasons, you won championships and all that stuff. Have you seen something like this to where people are kind of scapegoating one person, but yet it's a lot of deficiencies within that team of why they didn't perform?
No, never. I don't understand why Memphis went down this road. First of all, let's look at it from Memphis' point of view, right? You could use Dillon Brooks as a sign and trade to get something else if you don't want him back.
Right.
Let's look at it from Dillon Brooks' standpoint. You want your own team to want you so you can get as much money as possible. So I don't get it, and I don't get who leaked this. Whoever leaked this does not understand in the NBA and free agency. So I don't know who that is. I don't know if that was Memphis, which I doubt that those guys who run a team don't understand it, and I doubt it's his agent. So I don't know. Like, maybe they had an exit interview, and Dillon Brooks, maybe they just told him, like if it came out like this, like, Kirk, if you heard, man, Dillon Brooks wants a bigger role and he wants $25 million next year, you could say, hey, you know what, we ain't paying you $25 million. So if that's the case, then, congratulations. I hope you get paid. I hope you do well. But the way they worded it, or Shams worded it,
right,
said, under no circumstances is Dillon Brooks going to be coming back. That's on no circumstances. So if he signed for a minimum deal, you wouldn't sign him back? Like, it's that bad? So that whole thing is wild. And I don't think Memphis is trying to blame Dillon Brooks. I think what's happening, like, this is just my experience with the NBA. I think they got a young player. I think his name is Zaire Williamson. I'm pretty sure I could be off by that. He went to Stanford. He played with Bronny in high school, and he's a young, up-and-coming player. It might be one of those situations where no matter what happens, Taylor Jenkins is never going to play that young player over Dillon Brooks. So for the organization, maybe they're saying, like, you know what, we need to get rid of Dillon Brooks so we can get the let's say Williams has more talent than Brooks. Then all of a sudden you're like, okay, let's go with him instead of Dillon Brooks. We feel like his ceiling is higher. It might take some time, but we have to do that. And I don't know if Danny Ainge did that here. I don't know that, but I know that they had to free up space for Jaylen Brown as a young player. So I thought that Jay Crowder was kind of put into the Kyrie Irving trade for that reason. I could be completely off by this, but it kind of looked like to me that they were trying to, like, open up the door for Jaylen Brown to get more time so he could develop into what he is right now. So there's a lot of that. I don't think they're trying to blame Dillon Brooks, but it just feels like a weird strategy for both sides to have. And this is unprecedented, where you have a guy who's a free agent and teams are saying, like, we don't want you back. It does kind of feel like they're blaming John Morant's situation as Shotgun Willies, or the Steven Adams, Brandon Clark injuries, or just the Memphis kind of, like, they were supposed to be really good, and John Morant saying we're not worried about no one in the West, and all of a sudden now, it's Dillon Brooks' fault. So optically, it looks like that, but I think they're trying to open up some space for some younger players to come in and play.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.